Welcome everyone to SecurityCompliance.io, your CMMC compliance platform by InterSec Inc. We are a CMMC AB registered provider organization. This is the second of our video series that provides guidance on CMMC assessment as proposed by DoD and CMMC accreditation body, CMMC-AB. A little bit about InterSec. As provided in the previous video, we were incorporated in 2013 in Ashburn, Virginia. We are a boutique cybersecurity service provider for commercial, state, and federal clients. Our services include assessment, advisory, consulting, and managed security services for CMMC, which involve full coverage of administrative and technical CMMC requirements. The intro to the CMMC assessment is covered in full detail in our first video, which is going to be provided in the description below, or you can refer to the playlist on the right-hand side of your screen. So I will not go over this information at this time. Feel free to pause the video to read over it. Before we discuss how the AC.1.002 practice will be addressed and assessed by C3PAOs, which are CMMC third-party assessment organizations, let's quickly go ahead and move on to the brief background about the CMMC AC.1.002 practice. As you may already be aware, the CMMC Level 1 has 6 domains and 17 associated practices, as you can see here. The CMMC standard defines 4 capabilities for access control. These 4 capabilities are: establish system access requirements, control internal system access, control remote system access, and limit data access to authorized users and processes. The access control domain for Level 1 has 4 practices. The second practice, AC.1.002, is about limiting information system access to the types of transactions and functions that authorized users are permitted to execute. Using NIST 800-171 as a source, let us discuss the meaning behind access control, specifically in regards to AC.1.002 as a practice. When we're discussing this practice, we can talk about organizations defining access privileges by account or account type. You can also increase this by defining other authorization attributes, which can include time of day or day of week restrictions. For any other attributes that don't have to do with these listed, you can consider system-related, mission, or business requirements when trying to figure out access privileges. To clarify the CMMC side of things, what this means is you must limit user access to only the systems or privileges that are required for their roles. To break this down, all that really means is if they don't need access to it, please do not provide them access. Let us go over an example to understand this further. You supervise the team that manages DoD contracts for your company. Members of your team need to access the contract information to perform their work properly. Because some of that data contains federally classified information, otherwise known as FCI, you work with IT to set up your group's systems so that users can be assigned access based on their specific roles. For each of these roles, you're going to limit whether an employee has read or write access, and implementing this access control restricts access to FCI information unless specifically authorized. You just need to keep in mind that when you're conducting any type of work, especially with the DoD, that you have appropriate measures set in place so that information is not accessible if it doesn't need to be. When discussing the assessment procedure, this is going to be the same as discussed in the previous video, so go ahead and again, click on the link in the description below, or go ahead and click on the right side on the playlist. But to go over briefly, an assessment objective includes a determination statement related to the CMMC practice content. An assessment object specifies the specific items that are being assessed. And assessment methods are method types that define the nature and extent of assessor's actions, which can include an examine, interview, and test. For AC.1.002, the assessment objectives are: determine if the types of transactions and functions that authorized users are permitted to execute are defined, and determine if system access is limited to the defined types of transactions and functions for authorized users. For the assessment objects, the first one is going to be specifications or document-based artifacts associated with a system. The second one, mechanisms, are the specific hardware, software, or firmware safeguards employed within a system. The third, activities are protection-related actions supporting a system that involves people. And finally, individuals or groups of individuals are people applying the specifications, mechanisms, or activities described above. The assessment methods are going to be the same as AC.1.001, but to go over them briefly, The examine method just involves analyzing assessment objects to clarify and achieve understanding. The interview method is to further that understanding to achieve clarification or obtain more evidence. The test method is exercising assessment objects under specific variables to compare with expected behavior. When we're examining AC.1.002 practices implementation, a C3PAO may examine one or more of the following artifacts. For examine, it could be a system security plan. For the interview part, it could be personnel with information security responsibilities. And for inspecting, it could be mechanisms implementing access control policies. As a reminder, this is no comprehensive list, but should provide a general idea of the depth and scope of artifacts that could be examined. These are the references to other security standards related to AC.1.002. For example, here you can see that AC.1.002 maps to Control 3.1.2 in the NIST 800-171, and you can see the other ones here as well. And there we have it. If you'd like to learn more about CMMC, please check out some of the very useful resources on the screen. They will also be included in the description below for your convenience. One quick way to keep up to date on the CMMC and its changes is to subscribe to our mailing list at intersecic.com/contact us. We invite you to get a free CMMC Level 1 self-assessment and generate a gap report at our CMMC platform, www.securitycompliance.io. We're going to continue to have a series of educational video content on CMMC coming up, which includes the remainder of the practices. So click the like button if you enjoyed the video, and of course, subscribe for more content. To know when more content's coming out, also turn on post notifications so you can immediately know when we release a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time.